I got a squeeze box I'm going to show you. And here it is, the Aspire Speeder. On the front it says Aspire Speeder and has a picture of it. And it comes in a box. Imagine that. On the top of the box it says Aspire. On the bottom of the box it says Aspire. On the side of the box it says Speeder. On the other side of the box it says Speeder. This is one of those little code things that you scan with your phone and it'll take you to the website. That actually comes on the mod. I took it off the mod and put it on the box. Okay, opening up the box. We have a battery warning card. We have a warranty card. And we have an instruction manual. With this instruction manual I was able to learn how to operate this thing without any problems. So I'm going to say that worked fine for me. Inside we have the Aspire Speeder and a little box. Inside that little box is a USB cable. I think we've all seen those before. So let's take the mod out. On the front of the mod, very plain Jane looking. Not a whole lot going on there. We've got the USB connector on the bottom, and what you see on the top there is the actual screen. And there it says no atomizer, because there's no atomizer. And you kind of get an idea what the screen looks like. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. On the top, we've got a 510 connector. And that 510 connector is either gold or brass plated for better connectivity. It is spring loaded. Okay, looks to me to be a real fine connector. Also electrically it's tested out real well as on top of it. We have 3 screws in here holding the whole thing together. On the bottom got some ventilation holes, another do not throw away, and a latch. I'm going to say it again, a latch. I love that. It isn't just one of those clip-in things you have to worry about the batteries falling out. No, this latches. So, undoing the latch. It's a dual battery mod. We have 2 batteries in there. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see in there. You got a plus and minus, very well labeled. Those are spring-loaded contacts on the bottom. And we also have the contacts on the door itself, and they're marked with a plus and minus as well. So, put the batteries back in. Plus up there, minus up there, push that down and it latches. Again, I really like that. On the back it says Speeder. On one side it says nothing. That is just a bar there for decoration. It almost feels like it's rubberized a little bit. Gives you a little bit of a grip. On the other side we have another bar that says Aspire. And it's also there for looks, but this is the fire bar. Now notice, that fire bar is not the whole side of the unit. Okay, it's just a bar in the center of it. It is hinged from the bottom, and the switch is on the top. It's a fairly hard push on that. And again, we'll talk about that in a little bit, what the ramifications of that are, or at least my thoughts on the whole thing. Now, it is rounded, very nicely rounded. It's rounded on the top as well as the bottom. It will fit a 25 millimeter atomizer flush. Okay, so next we'll see if we can't figure out how to navigate this thing. Okay, so navigation. On the screen, turn it back on here. Wait for the no atomizer to go away. Okay, we can see I have it in temperature control right now. I have 400 degrees Fahrenheit. 0 watts are being developed. That'll update dynamically as you're using it. 9.99 ohms, basically meaning that it's a wide open circuit on the top. No atomizer attached. Likes to show you warnings for a very long time. Here we have, again, dynamic. It'll calculate the amps. Here we have TCSS, a lock that is not a lock for the resistance, that's a lock for the mod itself, or the adjustment buttons on the mod, and 2 individual battery meters on there so you can see how much battery is left. Okay, pressing the thing 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and it goes into stealth mode. 1, 2, 3, comes out of stealth mode. Press the fire bar and the down button at the same time, see that little lock come on? Now you can't adjust anything. Okay, hit it again, and the lock comes off. Now we can adjust the temperature. Hit the fire button and the up button at the same time, and right there we have TC stainless steel. Here we have TC memory 1, we have watts, we have voltage, we have bypass, we have CFS or a custom curve if you want to work with that, and then back to the stainless steel temperature control. So let's go here, TCRM1, let's go into watts. A lot of folks use watts, and that'll go away, and you can see it says watts and all the other good happy stuff. Again, if I press the down button and the fire button at the same time, it'll lock it so we can't adjust anything. Hit it again, unlocks it. Now we can adjust it. It goes from, what the hell does it go from? It goes from 1 watt all the way up to 200 watts. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to bring it back down to something more reasonable in case I go into watt mode. And there we go. That's closer. Now, holding the bottom and the the top and the power button again. Watts, voltage, there you can set the voltage that you want. Bypass, use it basically like a regulated mech mod. Here, CPS, I'm not going to go into that. You can go through a whole bunch of different little points and build your own power curve on there. Here we have the stainless steel nickel. I'm going to go back to that stainless steel nickel. You hit the fire button once and it'll jump over to that nickel, and you can go into titanium, stainless, and circle around there. I'm going to go into the temperature control stainless steel again and press that. Okay, so there I'm into that. Now you can take and press both up and down at the same time. You got to really be good at this and hit them exactly right. Yep, got it. Okay, and in there you can adjust the power that you want available. It has a TCR at the top. You can't adjust that. If you were in one of the memory modes, you could adjust that, but for a custom TCR, but not in either stainless, titanium, or nickel. Okay, so there we're all set for that. Hit them again at the same time. All right, hit it exactly right, and it pops back into the temperature control. And of course I can adjust that again. That's about it for what you can do with this device. It isn't really hard to navigate. It's another one where you're going to have to remember some button combinations though. So that's it for navigating the Aspire Speeder. Looking at the performance of the device, I don't have a picture of this, but I used a milliohm meter and cast that against how the device actually read resistance, and was pretty impressed with it. It was reading within 4%, which is very reasonable for a mod. Now you hear the variable wattage shown. It achieved about 5.8 volts. The device itself claims to reach 8 something. I did not find that to be true. It also has about a 200 millisecond delay. In this particular case, the device was set at 80 watts with a 0.57 ohm Kanthal coil. So with that coil, it only achieved although it was set for the 80 watts, about 60. So it is going to be a little bit underpowered in most cases. Now it will still achieve 200 watts, but only with about between 0.1 and 0.15 ohm coils. From there on, obviously the wattage will decrease as the resistance increases. Looking at the temperature control with the dry coil, this is kind of odd. It went all the way up to a 6.1 volts, and it had a little bit larger, a little longer of a delay, 250 millisecond delay. But as you can see, it although a little noisy in this case, it dropped right down, did temperature control real well, and this was with dry cotton. It did not burn the cotton, so it does a good job of preventing dry hits and or protecting the cotton, not allowing that to burn. And finally here, this is the last one that I did a test on, and this is with temperature control and the coil wet. A real nice, the same kind of a rise time that we saw before, and the temperature kept on rising until I blew on the coil, and then of course it reacted to that, and you can see right after that the device recovering and then dropping down and flattening out. So the recovery time is decent. It's nice and smooth, and what I can say is that it does give a very pleasant temperature control vape to the user. In other words, it feels very smooth. You can feel that little hump in the beginning of the temperature control ramp up, which I don't know, personally I don't mind that a bit. I like a quick ramp up time on that, and then it flattens right out and gives you a nice smooth temperature control vape for as long as you want to draw. Okay, nothing left to do but talk about it. So what do we have here? As I alluded to in the beginning of the video, we've got a squeeze box. It's a fire bar on the side. I think I can comfortably say it's competition to the Alien. Very close to the same size. I don't know exactly what you can see from there, but real similar in size. One difference being that the fire bar itself is a slim portion down the center, as opposed to being the whole edge of the unit. So I did notice that by putting a fire bar against the fatty part of my hand, it's not as easy to fire as if I put it in the other direction and use my fingers to squeeze it. It's also very comfortable for a thumb fire if you want to use that. Another thing I did notice about this is that, unlike a lot of other mods, when you press the fire bar, okay, in a lot of other mods you'll have an initial back pressure on pressing it, and then that'll ease up once it clicks over. With this one, it doesn't. It stays the same. So I found myself in the beginning using this device, I'd press it, I'd just kind of relax my hand a little bit, and it popped back off again. So I'm bouncing the switch back and forth. So you do have to squeeze it and continue to squeeze it to keep the thing firing. A couple things I didn't mention as we're going through the video. I really should have, but I didn't. Here, I don't know how well you can see that, but right there the screen is right side up, and if I flip it over, it's right side up again. So we do have an auto flipping screen on that. It's kind of a nice little feature. It's a neat thing. The other thing about this, for temperature control, obviously put on an addy that's at room temperature, and when you put it on, it's going to ask you whether it's a new or an old coil. Answer appropriately, and that is what sets and locks the resistance for the device and temperature control. So you don't have, there isn't a separate routine in the thing to actually go out and lock your resistance. So another piece that I missed. Other than that, you know, it's compact, it's rounded, very, very nice in the hand. I've been using the heck out of it. Temperature control, it gets great battery life for whatever reason in temperature control. That I found kind of exceptional. Just a real nice, easy mod to use. Plain Jane is all get out, there's no doubt about it. If you're looking for something flashy, this surely isn't it. but it's I think it's a contender. I think this is a very decent mod. Let me take a look here, make sure. No, I just wanted to check because I made a couple notes on things that I missed during the close-up there, and that's about it. So I guess with that, Aspire Speeder, thanks again as always for watching, and hasta la vista, baby.